That frog is wildly insensitive in hindsight.
Why do you say that? Oh, just his whole vibe.
I mean, come on. Yeah. What's he doing?
I know it's we know what he's doing.
We know what he's doing.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime guy.
The song itself, I mean.
Yeah.
Come on.
Have you ever gone back and watched that?
That cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember watching that cartoon before the WB was using him as like a main. What would he be, like a mascot? I guess. Yeah. It's weird.
It is really funny. Like the bit for people who are, not old farts like us, is that this guy discovers the singing frog, and he's trying to sell it, but every time someone else sees the singing frog, he acts like a regular frog.
Just a regular frog.
And then he goes insane trying to convince people.
It's a good bit.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a metaphor there or if it was just a sign of the times that they were like, he's also going to be a menstrual frog.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look back at I've seen a YouTube video about this, so I know much about it.
Oh.
If you look back at the original cartoons, they were based on minstrel shows. That's why they all have the gloves.
Oh.
Because they were... first of all, it was easier to animate, but it was also a familiar enough thing that audiences were like, I know what that is. Like, it's easier to digest.
I've seen those blackies dance like that.
Well,
or white
the
people
white people,
as black people.
Right, exactly. So
that's
where it came from.
Yeah.
Back to Mickey Mouse
Anytime
himself.
somebody got shot in the face for some reason, they just turned into a minstrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they were like, this is funny, right?
It's funny.
Right?
You guys get it.
This is what you've been laughing at for the
Right.
past 20 years,
Yeah.
so let's just put it in cartoon form.
Sure. You don't have to go out of the house for it anymore.
And those cartoons are messed up.
Oh, yeah. And the WB.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Marco Dupa. With me, as always, is the great and powerful Adam Obesis Rodriguez. That didn't work as well as I thought that was going to work, and I apologize
I don't
to
like
everyone who I just subjected.
I don't
that
like
to.
it.
That was bad, and I'm not proud of that. I feel I almost want to cut it out, but I'm going to leave it because
I feel like
I deserve the shame for that.
I feel like we hold ourselves accountable whenever we do something like that we keep it in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you gotta sit with it. It's okay.
So I'm gonna feel weird for a couple minutes.
It's fine.
And we're gonna move on.
I am here though.
Tonight's brew is from Sixpoint. I went and grabbed one of those variety packs.
You know, I gotta say ahead of time, I'm glad you got the variety pack.
Yeah.
You know, we're pretty big fans of Sixpoint here. Been one of the early craft beers we got on this podcast. But I'm upset they're to regular cans. What's the deal with that?
It's not. Oh,
they used to have those skinny, tall
skinny,
Red Bull type cans.
I don't know. There must have been some kind of. Maybe we should look into. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. This does kind of take a little bit away from. You guys are just like everybody else now.
Yeah, made them stand out more. I'm a little disappointed.
It really did.
Maybe it's only for their variety packs they do that, but
damn, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Well. The one out of the variety pack that we're doing, because we've done the rest of the variety pack, we're doing the Stooper. It's a hazy IPA, and Obi's going to have a little bit more about that after the break. Maybe just find some information about the can. I'll do that. And also, what's on tap for tonight? We're talking about the Game of the Year nominations, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give our picks at some point before the end of the year for game, movie. You know how we do.
We'll wait for December, probably early December, I would think.
But the Game of the Year Awards has dropped their nominations or
Video Game Awards.
Sorry, thank you. And not without some controversy.
Yeah.
So we're just going to talk about the nominations and how we feel about those things.
Indeed.
What else we got?
Also going to be talking about Conan O'Brien. He's finally been tapped to host the Oscars. So we'll have our thoughts about, how we think he'll fare on a sometimes a stage fraught with controversy of its own.
And last but not least, there has been a renewed interest in Twitter alternatives.
Yes.
And we're just going to kind of explore that because it's becoming a realer and realer possibility, not just because of everything that's going on in the political climate, but just the fact that, like, I mean, that's a huge reason.
Yeah.
But these Twitter alternatives are seeing surges in their subscriber base, and we're just going to kind of explore why that is. So let's get rocking.
Let's do it.
This is episode 443 of the One Beer In podcast.
Oh.
I'm looking on Reddit, and this was the first post that came up. It was r/Austin beer, so it's not even like Brooklyn.
Sure, I see that. Yeah.
So this person is asking about the cans, and he's also accusing them of the flavor being different from the skinny can to the regular can.
Interesting.
And everybody else is saying, like, You probably just got an old batch.
Yeah.
There's been no indication that the recipes have changed. So that's the first thing that pops up when you Google Sixpoint Brewery can change. But I guess that may be new can size. This is from the website itself.
Yeah, it has nothing on it.
Cool.
I opened that one too.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in particular. It may have just been something that went through without people saying anything about it. Oh, okay, hold on.
Found something?
According to the brewsite.com, this is March 7th of 2022. Sixpoint Brewery introduces a brand refresh across the board. They have a new look for the brand, featuring a refreshed logo and graphics. They've been going since 2004. Yada yada yada. I still don't see anything about the cans.
There's nothing. They just did it quietly, didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, it seems like they had a press release in 2022 that talks about the brand refresh for just like the look, the graphic design, essentially.
Yeah, which basically is just kind of like a reshaping.
Yeah,
not so much a brand redesign.
Sure,
it looks pretty similar.
Yeah, we'll dig into this a little bit and maybe get back to you next week.
Did you see all this shit with the Jaguar redesign?
Oh my god,
horrendous,
horrible.
I haven't watched the ad, so I'm not really talking about the ad per se.
The ad's even worse.
Yeah. I haven't watched it, so I don't know about that. I'm just looking at the you okay? Oh, Sherry's about to go take a shit, so
it's fine.
She wanted everybody to know.
I'm gonna take a shit.
Yeah, she's dropping a huge dumper.
Big old dump.
Big old dumpling.
Old dumpy.
Old dumperoo.
Yeah.
Dumpa.
Someone grab a plunger.
Bring it in with you, like the Toxic Avenger with his mom. What was I talking about?
Dumps.
Oh, the Jaguar.
Yeah.
Dumps.
Oh, speaking of dumps, the Jaguar.
Jaguar
update.
took a big dump with their update.
Oh my god, it looks really bad.
Yeah,
it looks really bad, and it feels like a refresh out of its time, because their entire thing is like they're trying to shake it up, shake the cage, break out of a mold that they've been in.
Yeah.
But
they probably just want younger people to buy Jaguars.
Well, and they have a plan to make all of their cars EVs in a couple of years, I think.
That's crazy. It is insane to think about. These car companies are just like straight up just going electric. Like
it's happening.
All electric.
It's happening.
Wow.
So that's a different story. But the fact that they are trying to shake the cage and disrupt the market in such a predictable, boring way that other brands have done ad nauseum.
Yeah.
It's just so like, what? Huh?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? It's this minimalist design.
Yeah.
It is this like, the ad itself has no cars in it.
Yeah.
It's just people in outrageous outfits with outrageous hairdos. It's like, this would have been shocking in like 2012.
Yeah.
We're not there anymore. Like it comes off as cliche and boring and really try hard. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, this is the alternative. We're not your grandpa's Jaguar.
But you are, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Jaguar is a company that, unfortunately, it's like getting a Lincoln.
Yeah.
It's just like
a fancier Lincoln.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Because it has an accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but you have been ingrained in car culture for too long for you to think that you're going to turn around and start being like a Scion.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like I read this post that I really agree with, which is, for better and worse. I would argue mostly worse because, I'm a lefty pinko swine, but there's been this pushback against woke culture and DEI and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So a brand like Jaguar has this prestigious, old-timey appeal to it.
White.
Very. But it has this very classic feel and identity to it. What's happening now in our culture, especially in America, but kind of worldwide and in the West in general, there's this push into more of this conservative traditionalism. Why not roll with that?
Right.
Why not make it this thing about heritage, about, wood grain wheel and leather seats, and we have this prestige of making Jaguar. For decades. Jaguar. And it is your grandfather's car.
Right.
It has that sex appeal. It's really cool, and it can be masculine or it can be feminine and sexy, but like keep that traditionalism ingrained into it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But instead you're like, we're not going to show the car. We're going to have this alternative culture kind of look and feel to the commercial, and we're going to minimalize the logo. Like it's going against everything that it's going against the easier flow of culture right now, which I don't know. I mean, could work out eventually, but I'll tell you, it landed like a wet fart.
It was a thud.
As of right now. So I think you should put a car in your car commercial, personally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you got the right idea there. You might want to put an actual car.
There are going to be dinosaurs in your dinosaur park.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, it was only a couple of years ago that like they had Mark Strong and like who else was in that commercial? Like it was a whole thing where they were like, "This is Jaguar," and what made them. That whole ad campaign was like, what sets us apart is we are still a classic car company.
Yeah.
For a classic gentleman or gentle lady.
Right.
This is heritage and prestige.
Classy.
Exactly what you were talking about. They already did. So it's like, you can't come back a couple years later and be like, actually, this is for kids.
Yeah.
This is for the early 20-somethings.
Gen
you want
Z,
a Jaguar?
we see you.
We got the car for you.
Yeah.
All right. I think we spent too much time on Jaguar. But it is interesting because it kind of falls in line with like what's going on in the world today. And Jaguar is just kind of like they're lost at sea, like a lot of brands are.
Sure.
Don't really know where to go with their marketing and their branding because, I mean, unfortunately, there is a very big there was a swing to the right politically and I'd say culturally.
Yes.
And these brands, because they don't really have a backbone or any kind of moral compass, it's going to be interesting to watch and see how they start, like who they start branding towards, who they start trying to sell to.
I promise you're going to hear so much butt rock and dudes in flannel, denim jackets with fleece.
They won't lean too far, just in case they have to like swing the pendulum back.
Yeah.
But they will
to sell to a gay or a woman.
But they're definitely gonna like. It's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah. Get ready for the cowboy hats, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, speaking of branding, I need to talk about this beer.
Yeah. Yes. Let's talk about this beer.
This beer is from Sixpoint Brewery out of Brooklyn, New York.
Where Brooklyn at?
It's called the Stooper Hazy IPA. Comes in at 6.4% ABV, and there is a cold read.
Boy, howdy.
Goes as follows: the beer after your shift, and the beer on your day off. At the park, in the shower. In the shower, or chillin' on the stoop. There's nothing better. Stooper is a 6.4% hazy IPA for the good times. Is bursting with tropical and citrusy aroma for copious.
It's bursting out of the citrusy?
It's busting right out that citrusy. Citrusy aromas from copious Galaxy and Citra hops. Grab a step. To be fair, okay?
Yeah.
The font is tiny.
It is, yeah.
And I'm old.
It's difficult.
So I'm sorry.
It's really hard to read.
It's really hard to read.
But man.
For copious.
Dude, you tried.
I did.
You tried, and
did my best.
That's all that we can say.
That's all I can do.
Okay, all right. One Beer and Podcast. You know where you are. You know who you're with.
Yeah.
Marco Dupa, Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Bust out that citrusy.
Let's do this. Okay, first things first. What do we bring up first? Doesn't matter.
Game Awards.
Game Awards.
The Game Awards.
Okay, do you have the nominees pulled up?
I sure do.
Okay, then let's get just rocking right into the free world.
Okay. So I have the actual full nomination list. I'm going to run through this real quick and see what, would be most interesting for us. First of all, best esports game.
You don't need to go through we don't know. I don't know anything about the athletes themselves or the teams.
Well, not the teams. I'm saying the games themselves.
Yeah, you said you wanted to go through all of them.
I did not, sir.
That is what you just said.
No, I said I will go through the ones that look interesting to us.
Oh, that is
we can cycle it back.
Oh yeah, we
can listen to it.
Oh yeah, we can, and we're gonna.
Okay.
And if I was wrong, I'm never wrong.
And if I was, I wasn't.
Right,
best esports game: Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends Bang Bang. I've never heard of that.
Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
And Valorant.
Okay. I mean, my first thought on that isn't Valorant the only new game in there?
Counter-Strike 2 is new.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But other than
Dota
that,
Dota 2 and League of Legends.
Dota 2, League of Legends,
I don't
know that. That's I'm sure it's like a Chinese phone game, right?
I don't know anything about this.
All right. Anyway,
I mean, if I had to, I'll say the thing that I heard the most about was obviously Valorant. That was the one that made the most news.
Sure.
And that's the one that I see most streamers playing. As far as the quality of it, I popped in.
I was gonna say, have you played it?
I played a little bit of it, and it was fun.
Yeah.
I did like it, and I've watched some streams on it because I was curious about it. So, I mean, all that to say, I can't say if it was. I don't even know what Bang Bang is.
I don't either.
Bang Bang could be the game of the year.
It's true.
That's what people were saying about the one controversial take in.
Yeah.
That it actually is a really good game
we'll
if
get
you
there.
know what it is.
Yeah, we'll get there. How about most anticipated game?
Yes, let's. Yeah.
Okay. Death Stranding 2. Ghost of Yotei. Grand Theft Auto 6. Metroid Prime 4. And Monster Hunter Wilds. So for me, I really think they have to go with GTA 6, right?
Yeah.
It's a shoo-in.
It's a shoo-in. If you pick anything else, you're lying to yourself.
Personally, I am probably more excited for Ghost of Yotei.
Same.
But
yeah, my personal pick is Ghost of Yotei.
Yeah. Then Death Stranding for me, and then GTA, and then Prime. And I don't play Monster Hunter, so I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. Best adaptation. That's an interesting one. Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon Yakuza, and Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft, which is the animated Tomb Raider.
So we talked all this shit about that Yakuza show coming out, and then I haven't seen a scene from it. Not even memes about it.
I have only heard mediocre things.
Excuse me.
I've heard,
and it's probably like one of those middle of the road, like, it was okay.
Yeah.
That's why there's nothing entertaining that's come out. And that is so crazy to me because of how the Yakuza games are. It's so insane that not even like a silly dance sequence has gone viral.
Right.
Nothing.
Because they don't have that in that adaptation.
And it's like, then what are we doing?
It really seems to me like it was planned to be just a crime thriller that they're like, how do we get more people to watch this?
Yeah.
What if you make it a Yakuza thing?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think that's going to do it. I think it's either going to be Arcane or Fallout.
Yeah, I mean, Arcane did really well.
Yeah.
Fallout is awesome. Don't sleep on that Tomb Raider show, though. I watched 2 episodes of it just on a whim.
Okay.
And it's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I saw a funny clip from it.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Well animated. Yeah, it's good. The Knuckles thing, get out of my face.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Best multiplayer game. Okay, this is one we can talk about. Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40,000, Space Marine 2.
Okay, this is an interesting category because off rip, I want to say Black Ops because that's what I've been playing most recently.
Yeah. I think Helldivers 2. I think Helldivers 2 had such a moment.
Yeah.
Had such a chokehold on, and was such a surprise that, you can easily say it's Call of Duty, but I feel like that's kind of
a little cop out,
giving the game away a bit. Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is it's going to be between Black Ops or Warhammer, actually. But
okay.
I do think the true winner is Helldivers.
Yeah.
As far as best multiplayer, I mean, I really do prefer. In my heart of hearts, I really wish that more games made PvE games.
Yeah.
And I miss PvE games. I mean, couch co-op, I miss that the most.
Sure.
And I miss playing a game where like you could go through the story. I love when devs make a game and they're like, you can do a co-op story mode. You guys can just jump in with a friend and just just play the whole story mode. I love that shit. So when the game was focused around like teamwork and fighting off these legions of enemies with your friends, as opposed to like. And I love that they took a stance on like, we're not going to make a PvP mode. We're just not going to do it because that goes against the idea of the game and what we're trying to do. So I love that shit. So yeah, I'm going with Helldivers. I think the winner's going to be Black Ops though.
All right, best sports or racing game. F124, EA Sports FC 25, which is the new FIFA, if you don't know. NBA 2K25, Top Spin 2K25, and WWE 2K25.
All I've heard about any sports game that's come out this year is that it's not good.
Yeah, me too. This feels like a sort of best of the worst situation.
Yeah. I'm really surprised that Undisputed's not even mentioned, not nominated at all.
Yeah.
As well as Madden. Madden not nominated at all.
Yeah.
Interesting that 2K24 would take a spot from like a larger... No MLB The Show.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that they're going to give it to FC, personally.
Yeah.
Just for its popularity and its, kind of is what it is every year. But
it's really like consistent.
Yeah. I don't really play sim games, so I'm going to skip that. Yeah. Family game. Astrobot, Princess Peach, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and The Plucky Squire. I really hope Astrobot takes this one. And I haven't played Princess Peach, but I've heard pretty good things. I don't think it's going to win. Super Mario Party Jamboree is more Mario Party, which is good. It's great.
Never bad. What do you want?
Do you have to poop again? Okay. Okay. It's great. It's great. It's great. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom doesn't come off to me like a family game, because when I think of a family game, I think of a game you can play with your family.
Yeah.
Not just a game that's like okay for kids to play too.
Right.
And then Plucky Squire, I heard kind of mixed things about. I heard it looks really cool, but it's not like, it's not as good as it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
So all of it to say, I've already talked ad nauseum about Astrobot and my love for it. So I think it deserves this one.
I think it's going to be Super Mario Jamboree. Super Mario Party Jamboree. I got to play it a little bit. Brad got it. And yeah, like you said, it's more Mario Party, which is never bad. Yeah. I do think like they've made some subtle changes to like the way that the game looks and feels and the touch of the game. Yeah. That's just kind of just, they really kind of nailed it in the last game. The last game was just like a greatest hits Mario Party game.
All Stars or whatever.
Yeah. Superstars. And this one just touches that up.
Yeah.
You just get better maps or boards rather. And you get...
Right.
It's just a cleaner game.
I do like the fact that you can sort of pick the rules a bit more. They give you more options as far as that goes.
Yeah, you can have like house rules in the game.
Yeah, which is
what it always should be. Way more characters.
Yeah.
Which is like, what are we doing? This whole time you let people pick Metal Mario in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Baby Mario.
Yep.
Link. All these different like
Shy Guy.
But in Mario Party, the game that is a board game that you would think would I don't know. So now it's kind of opened it up to you can pick all these characters and stuff.
It's valid.
Yeah.
All right. Best fighting game: Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, Multiverses, and Tekken 8.
I'm surprised Multiverses is in there.
Me too.
I think they just ran out of games.
Probably. Well, no. This year was the latest Street Fighter, wasn't it? Or was that last year?
Oh, I don't know.
Street Fighter.
I think it was last year. And I don't think Mortal Kombat's out yet, is it?
Mortal Kombat is out.
Okay, so they're just introducing new characters.
They're adding new characters to Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Which Ghostface looks awesome.
Yeah.
Everything I've seen.
Yeah, it
looks so cool.
They've kind of nailed the voice too.
And all the little like quirks, the little touches, the callbacks to the movies, just so nice. So nice.
I just don't play fighting games that much. If I'm gonna roll the dice, gamble here.
Yep.
I'm gonna say it's between Tekken or the DBZ game.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Tekken because out of all of them, it's the one that I think stands out as the most like solid overall fighting game, and I think it's the one that's been most embraced by the fighting game community.
Yeah.
I would otherwise say Marvel vs. Capcom, but it's a re-release, so as much excitement as there was that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is finally playable again, you can't give it to them. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Tekken 8 on that one. Best RPG: Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erd Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. So off the bat, haven't played Metaphor yet, but I've only heard great things. Haven't gotten to Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth yet. Heard very great things. Beat Rebirth, love it. Elden Ring is a game that I respect the hell out of, but I'm not good at, and I've tried. And I will continue to try, because it's a fun game to play. It's just grueling for me. And Dragon's Dogma 2, it had a moment, but I don't think it really deserves the win on this.
Yeah.
From everything I've heard. I feel like if you're going to pick Dragon's Dogma 2, you might as well go with Elden Ring.
I think if you're going to put those in the best RPG category, But then you go, okay, but which one is also in the best game of the year category? Not without its controversy, but Elden Ring is in there. So I kind of feel like if it's a game of the year category, how is it not the best RPG of the year?
Yeah, well,
Rebirth is also in there, so I guess there's that.
Yeah,
I'm going with Rebirth, even though I've only played like 10 hours of it.
Yeah, I would be happy with the games I've played so far. I'd be happy to give it to Rebirth. From the buzz I've heard from Metaphor, I think it may have an edge.
Yeah,
but haven't played it yet. Can't really talk to it. Best action adventure game: Astrobot, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2 remake, Star Wars Outlaws, and The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. How did Star Wars Outlaws get on here?
That is an interesting question, my friend. That one is probably more controversial than some of these other.
Was it
nominees.
a bad year? Like, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these nominees and I'm like, it's so funny that the best games so far that we've named were the ones in the most anticipated category.
Yeah.
Like that category, I was like, man, I can't wait for any of those to come out. Yeah. The rest of this shit, I've just been like, well, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. The Prince of Persia game, I'll say this. I was obsessed with that OG trilogy when they...
Sands of Time.
Yeah. I loved Sands of Time.
So good.
And then that fourth one... I know it was very polarizing. I am on the side of people who fucking hated it. I was so pissed.
Was that like the metal one?
Yeah, and it sucked.
Yeah,
I was like, "What am I even playing?" They
the moody one.
And I was like, "What is this, man?
Yeah.
No one asked for this.
They had something. They had something there.
Yeah,
and they lost it.
And then so I'll say that like I wasn't ready for them to bring back Prince of Persia. Yeah. Although I did hear that this new one is pretty good. So
there was a demo out. I don't know if it still is, but the demo is really good.
Yeah,
like it's a really good side scroller kind of game.
Yeah,
Castlevania-esque. So you got to be in the mood for that.
Just make the game. Just do what you were doing with that original trilogy. Yeah. You don't have to. Prince of Persia was based on like a game that was like four squares jumping over fucking like you don't have to go back and be like, what if we made it like that but up-res? Like you don't have to do that. Yeah. You already proved that you had a pseudo God of War game here with that really cool mechanic of time manipulation. Yeah. So I don't understand.
Well, I do think this was an experiment to see if there was still gas in the tank for Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, game didn't sell up to the standards for Ubisoft. So the team was disbanded, and
cool.
We're probably not going to get more Prince of Persia for a while.
It's probably for the best. They don't seem to know what to do with it.
I mean, from all accounts, this was a good game, though, so I want to tip of the hat to them. But for best action adventure game, out of these, again, I'm going to say Astrobot because it was just a lot of fun. I heard good things about the Silent Hill 2 remake. I haven't heard good things about Star Wars Outlaws. I've heard good things about the Echoes of Wisdom Zelda game, but not enough to warrant like best action adventure game of the year.
Yeah. You know? I mean, this is a tough category because Silent Hill is not...
I told Sherry I wanted Zelda, and she's giving me a look now like I don't want it anymore. I do. I'm just saying on like the global scale. I love the look of it. I want the game.
Yeah, calm down.
My birthday is coming up. So
Jesus Christ. Now he doesn't want it.
I want the game.
Now
I think it looks like a really fun game.
It said it looks bad.
Yeah. I didn't say it looks bad.
Yeah. Silent Hill 2 is not an action adventure game.
No, it's a horror game.
I mean, you could stretch and say it's like an action horror, but even that, it's not really.
No, you don't like get an arsenal of guns and have these action set pieces.
Yeah, so weak category.
Yeah,
one game that was critically panned, one game that doesn't even belong in the category.
Yeah,
agreed.
Okay, and there's a best action game category instead of action adventure. Specifically action.
Well, that's silly.
Yeah. Black Myth Wukong, Blop 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. For this one, I say Blops, personally, because it's an action game.
I feel like even though I was super hyped about Black Myth,
Yeah.
I still haven't played it yet. And I just feel like if I say on this recorded podcast that it's anything but that, and then I get to play it is just a game that is up my alley, man.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I can't call it till I've played that game.
Sure.
I need to get that game.
Yeah.
And then come back to this.
Okay.
Because it just looks so fucking cool.
It does look really good. It looks very good.
But considering what we have here, I think I would go with Helldivers actually. For the action that took place, for the improvisational nature of it, the cinematic nature of like what you could do in the game. Sure. Like I'm going with Helldivers for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Putting an asterisk on it.
I'm not mad at that. All right. Let's go through these. Don't care.
Best community support. That's cute.
No. You know what? Let's just go to the top dog at this point.
Let's do it.
So, game of the year. We've got Astrobot. We got Balatro. Black Myth Wukong. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And Metaphor Refantasio.
Okay. So, interesting nominees. Balatro is the game that I was referring to earlier, which apparently is like a really fun game.
Yes, it's a card game. It's like poker, but easier entry.
I have a hot take about this.
Okay.
I don't even think that card games should exist in a digital nature. I think they're silly. I think it's silly when you take a card game and then you make it a video game. I like the idea of collecting cards,
like video poker.
Yeah, well, no, not the same thing. Because like with old school games like that, that's like saying like you should never be able to play billiards online. I don't think it's the same thing. I think creating new games, I think card games really should just be like hands-on,
a physical,
things.
Tactile thing.
Yeah.
So like you're against the new digital like Pokemon card game that's out now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think Pokemon should be, the game is what the game already is, a turn-based game where you collect them all.
Sure.
Gotta catch them all.
Mm-hmm.
And then the card game, even though like, you know, it's obviously had this resurgence as far as its value, the card game is actually really fun to play in real life. And I know nobody does that anymore, and I know that's why. I guarantee you somebody has like an idea for a card game, and they're like, oh, what if nobody's going to buy the set and actually break out the board and explain the game to people and yada, yada, yada.
It's way easier for people to like log into their phone and play it on an app with other people miles and miles away.
Yeah. So I do understand why they exist.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they should.
Just don't like
that's my hot take on. I don't think that there should be digital card games. I think card games are things that should be real. Tactile things that you hold in your hand. And I think that you should have to like collect decks and create your team or whatever it takes to be better in a game. You know.
Well, to counter that a little bit, I think what Balatro does that you can't do in the real world is like you essentially you get power-ups that give you higher chances of certain things happening. So you can't do that in a physical space.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's kind of what in my point, because I get what you're saying. There's a part of me that, you know, when I was playing the Marvel Snap game, I was like, I just wish I had these cards physically.
Right?
Like, that'd be really cool.
If you had like a collection of all those cards that you played,
like, it'd be really, really cool. And I would like actually be into collecting those. It seems like it'd be a fun thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Just another thing to collect.
Yeah, there's not enough of those. I do think that there is a reason for them existing other than just the accessibility of it, and I think it's because it allows developers to find ways to like make the gameplay more interesting by doing things you couldn't do in a physical space.
I don't know. I just feel like when you do shit like that, when a game starts bordering on like you play a card and then a dragon appears and kills the other dragon, and then it's not to say that that's what that game is.
Yeah, no.
But like when you have games like that, it's like, well, just make the game then. Just make that the game.
Yeah.
Just have like actual dragons fighting each other and like let me, like why do I need to play a card and hope that, roll doubles and all this other bullshit. I just think it's
clearly a man who's played Balatro.
I don't think it's the same thing for something like Baldur's Gate, for instance. I do like the idea of like throwing a digital die.
Yeah.
But that's because it's turn-based combat.
Sure.
And you still kind of are in control of that.
Well, and it's making real what you would have to experience in a I guess a far less visual and audio or audible experience if you're sitting down and playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Right, because you would be doing that. Everything that you do in that game, you would be doing in a real space.
It runs literally by the same rule base, the same like character sets, and everything else that you would have with D&D. It runs by the same rules and regulations and all that stuff. So you can literally play your game as you would in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
But there's something to seeing your character physically embodied,
right?
To walking around this space, to hearing the music, to hearing your character's voices, and all that stuff. Yeah, it makes sense.
And to fucking the dragon lady.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So, you've got Black Myth Wukong, which that was getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
No. Okay, hold on. There was let me pull up that tweet.
Okay.
Because when you sent me the nominees, I actually started like thinking of games that I was like, and then I saw your tweet and I was like, yeah.
That's why I sent the tweet, because I was like, I don't want to do the research myself because I know there are other games that could have been here. Yeah. But this tweet was pretty well researched and put together.
So this is just a handful of games that are actually nominated in other categories. Yeah. They just didn't make it into the game of the year category. Space Marine 2, which has like 4 nominations. Stellar Blade, Helldivers 2, again another game with like 2 or 3 more nominations. Yeah. Tekken 8, Silent Hill 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Animal Well, which I don't know about that one.
It has a nomination, I think, in Indie.
Okay. Dragon's Dogma 2, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and those are just a handful that this person, Mr. Pio won. Whatever. I just realized it's a verified account, and I'm like, ugh. I don't know if he paid for it or if he's actual. Like, does he deserve the attention? I don't know.
You're looking at his
I had to make sure. I'm like, is he a guy?
Who are you?
I had to look up and see if he's like a real person, first of all. If it's
are you an anime character?
This person had a really good point. Silent Hill 2 received 5 nominations but got snubbed by a DLC for Game of the Year. So that's been the big thing from a lot of people's standpoint, is that the Elden Ring game that's being nominated is actually not the full game. It is the DLC extension.
It is
of Elden Ring, and people are kind of up in arms about it because it's like, okay, it's a $30 extension to a game. It's not the game itself. How can it be Game of the Year? I don't really have a devil's advocate defense of that. I agree. I don't really understand how can that be?
So how can this be?
How could this be? I don't know. Do you have a...
Well, no. First of all, I don't. But I did see on Elon's Twitter, one of the most outspoken former video game journalists and voices in the video game sphere, Greg Miller. He actually said, essentially, I'm paraphrasing here. He's like, I do think that DLC should be eligible for Game of the Year.
Say this.
And it's its own game, essentially. So, yes, I do think it should be like valid for that conversation.
But is it its own game?
But it's not. It's not its own game. It isn't. And if it was its own game, you would have to take it for this, like, literally the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
So you have to take away everything you experienced with Elden Ring before that.
Right.
Which, from what I understand, this extension is meant to be played after you've beaten Elden Ring.
So even that alone is, I feel, disqualifying, because you need to play a full other game before you can even play that.
And it seems like it was made as sort of a response to some people saying Elden Ring can be a little too easy if you game the system a certain way. So let's make this version like ungameable in a way that, like, you need to grind, you need to figure out the strategies behind these enemies, and there's no like cheap way out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard mode essentially for the game, with new characters, new story, new enemies and techniques and all this stuff that you can unlock. But I think it's intrinsic that you play Elden Ring before you get into Shadow of the Erdtree. So that being said, like, no, there's no way. I think if it was more of a thing of like, remember when BioShock had like those story DLC packs? Mm-hmm. That would make more sense to me, because it's like you can play that on its own. You get more out of it if you've played the original game.
Yeah.
And the original games.
Or like the GTA story packs that came out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, if you're playing The Lost and the Damned, you can play that by itself.
Yeah.
You won't get as much out of it if you haven't played the OG game, but you can play that on its own.
What about God of War Valhalla? Because that is like sort of a different game. It's really just a tournament mode.
Yeah.
Roguelike,
yeah. It's its own like roguelike game.
So that is different from Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I think that they wasted calling a game Valhalla on like an extension pack, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Well, the rumor is they're going to move away from the whole Nordic thing in the future anyway, so
that's probably smart.
Yeah.
2 games. So. I think that's enough.
It's good. Yeah.
Where are they? Where are they? Do you know where they?
Well, okay. I won't say exactly what, but there are minor spoilers what could be spoilers in Ragnarok, or Valhalla, excuse me, with the bosses that you fight.
Uh-huh.
So there are some allusions to other potential mythical places you could possibly take the game to. So
okay.
I think there's a little wink and a nod. They made it vague enough that you're like, it could go that way, or it could go this way, or it could go the other way.
Cool.
Yeah.
You should fight Jesus in the next game.
Yes.
Another mythical creature.
You kill him, but he comes back. It's crazy.
And he just keeps on coming.
He keeps forgiving you. It's really sad.
Just keeps forgiving you. And every time his health bar gets longer and longer, every time he forgives you. And
yes.
you never win the game.
Your guilt just continues to grow.
And you get weaker.
You get weaker,
as he gets stronger.
Yes.
Anyway, so it is insane that a game like Silent Hill, for instance, it's a top to bottom remaster of the
it's
the
a
OG
remake.
game. Remake rather. Sorry, not remaster. Top to bottom remake of the OG. And so that's something where it's like, this is, for all intents and purposes, a new game.
It is. Yeah.
And that doesn't get nominated, even though it's nominated 5 times. Doesn't get Game of the Year.
Yeah.
These fucking these fucking award shows, man. We're getting to the point where it's like they're never gonna get it right. I mean, I don't want to even talk about it on the podcast at length, but I was looking at the Grammy nominations, and it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's just insane what
I haven't
gets
even
nominated.
looked. I didn't even look. I knew they wouldn't get it. So
the
I was
album
like,
of the
all
year
right.
nominations are just. I'm not even gonna. I know
Yeah.
Twitter's gonna talk about it all day or all night
course.
as it's going on.
Of course.
And same thing with the Oscars. It just feels like we're never gonna get it right. I was listening to another podcast, which we will not name, but they were talking about the fact that like it's just strange to the point of being like, it just doesn't make any sense that we don't have best action movie category, a best comedy, and a best horror movie category.
Yeah.
We are long past and overdue for movies in these genres to be recognized.
Yeah.
And it is silly to, at this point, pretend like a movie like Gladiator 2 is more prestigious than like a Longlegs or a Hereditary.
Oh, yeah.
Just because the entertainment value is different.
I will never stop being mad that Hereditary didn't get anything.
That's crazy.
Toni Collette, I mean.
Toni Collette is long overdue for multiple Oscars, and it's only because she does her best work in the horror genre.
In genre films.
And that, she's always going to be shackled by that.
Yeah.
And it's fucked up.
Yep.
And there's been plenty of action movies that have come out where, and there's years where like no good action movies have come out, and then I guarantee you like The Gray Man probably would have won the Oscar for like the best action movie. So it's I don't know, it's just we're just at a point in culture and in society where it's like, why are we pretending like, why are we still doing this holier than thou? We're going to dress to the nines and look down on people while also pretending like we're humbled by the experience of being recognized by the Academy.
Well, and the fact that there's still no best stunt.
Yeah.
Or best stunt person
yeah.
category is, indicative of everything you just said.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous that like some of the hardest working people in the industry don't get the nods that they deserve.
Right.
It's crazy.
Won't get recognized.
Insane.
Won't ever get recognized because at this point, 2024, it's not going to be 50 years from now and then we're recognizing old comedies and horror movies. So we're just going to have to accept the fact that you have to live with a Saturn Award.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But anyway.
Right.
So this is going to be a controversial year.
Yeah.
But let's address what is actually in the nominees.
Okay.
Who do you think wins?
I think they will give it to, and this is, it's hard given what is presented here.
These aren't good nominees. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
No Silent Hill, no Black Ops, no Warhammer, no Helldivers, no Prince of Persia. Like, these aren't good nominees. Right. I'm looking at what is actually presented here, and I feel like there's an obvious answer in here.
Okay. Well, look, I will say this. There are 3 nominees here that I wouldn't be mad seeing win. One is Astrobot, because I've, been shouting from the rooftops how good that game is. One of the best platformers, I will say, of all time. I think it's incredible. It's a great game. Rebirth. Phenomenal game. Like, it's just
an improvement on the last game in almost every
way. You can feel the money and time and energy that was put into every nook and cranny of that game.
Yeah.
And as a Final Fantasy VII fan in general, it was just a dream come true.
Yeah.
Love the game. Metaphor, I've heard incredible things about. I'm very excited for same team that made Persona 5. So I have all faith that they can pull this off. And I have the demo, so I will play it. But I've only heard good things, and I have all trust that this will be a Game of the Year contender for sure. All that being said, I think I can see Metaphor taking it.
Yeah.
I think because it's a political game. I think because it's a new franchise. And I think because it is relatively new, it's going to have a bit more shine on it than the other games. So I think with all that considered, it will take it.
I think considering the previous winners of the Game of the Year from the Video Game Awards, I think Astrobot is kind of the front runner in my mind. I don't really see how... I guess we'll see like when the winners start getting announced and everything. If Black Myth starts taking some of the other categories, I could see Black Myth winning. Given everything you said about Metaphor, I don't really know that much about it, but that seems pretty interesting. I could see that being a good reason. Balatro is apparently this like incredibly underrated, underrepresented game in America.
It's a sleeper hit because it's an indie card game essentially.
Yeah,
but it's taken over.
I just don't see it winning Game of the Year.
I don't think so. Nor do I think it deserves it. I mean, it is an extremely fun, addictive game, but it's not Game of the Year.
I do think the Elden Ring thing is an interesting, controversial pick, but I just kind of think it's a waste of a nomination. I don't think it has any chance winning.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think it's between Astrobot and Rebirth, really. I think those are the two. But I think Astrobot's going to win.
Okay.
I think the Video Game Awards, they like platformers. They like stuff like this. They like Little Big Planet, Sackboy.
It's just like what we talked about with the Oscars, where, like, they love movies about movies.
Right.
And Astrobot is, like, extremely reverential to everything PlayStation.
It is just a love letter to PlayStation. That's
right.
And it just so happens to be beautifully designed.
And a great game on top of it, yeah.
So I just think all that considered, I just think it's the front run. I don't think anything's going to...
It's a good point.
Stop it.
It's a good point.
But I don't know. If you guys have any opinions on this, let us know. Because this one was really interesting. These nominations, I mean, it was definitely like a weaker year.
Yeah.
It would have been more fun to have tougher nominations. I just don't see how like my actual pick for Game of the Year probably would be Helldivers. I think even though it didn't hold on to like its stranglehold that it had in the beginning of the year, there was a good clean like 3 months of just good old fashioned.
That's
just
all you're playing.
Yeah. I mean everybody played it.
I'm sure people are still playing it, you know?
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I've been thinking about jumping back in and kind of seeing how it was a thing. I mean, it's kind of the same as like when Destiny was big and everyone was playing Destiny, and then we all kind of moved on to the next thing, but then you jump back into Destiny and there's like
am I?
Bro, it is crazy. Everybody knows like the lore and there's this whole community. It's like this beautiful niche thing that's happened over there.
It's very small, but it's so intense.
It's like walking into a stranger's house. You're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Am I interrupting?
Yeah. Should I get out of here? Or like, you guys look like you are busy doing something really cool. So I'm wondering if that's what Helldivers is going to turn into.
I hope not, because it is PvE. So that helps a little bit. But you may have people being like, what are you doing? Like,
but there needs to be something to kind of bring it back to the forefront.
Yeah.
All that stuff with the PlayStation Network thing and it really, they shot themselves in the foot by kind of insulting their player base. And then people, you only get one shot with people, you know? You make one mistake, stuff is too volatile now.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there's just too much to choose from.
Yeah.
You know, if one game you got isn't doing it for you, there's a million other to play.
Just move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And I think all the people who felt betrayed by the Helldivers devs, even though it wasn't really their fault.
No, not at all. That was a PlayStation decision.
Yeah, but they still face the brunt of it.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but that's just the reality of it.
They made their money.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right, so you guys let us know what you think is the game of the year.
Yeah. Goaty.
All right. Last but not least, let's talk about some fun stuff. Twitter. Oh, wait.
No, not last.
We spent a long time on that. That's why I was like looking at how much time we've been recording.
I say let's skip Conan because I think we know what we're going to say about Conan. I think he's a great pick.
Great pick.
I mean, I like he's been waiting for his time to do this, and I think he's going to nail it. And I have all faith in Conan O'Brien. I think he has very few misses in his catalog.
Yeah.
And I think he's built for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very excited, and for the first time in a long time, for a host of the Oscars.
And I think it's going back to the kind of thing that the Conans, the Oscars represents or tries to represent. I think Conan is the perfect person to kind of send that up while still appreciating it.
Yeah.
He's a person who he appreciates old Hollywood. He appreciates showbiz.
Yes.
He also understands that it's a machine that chews you up and spits you out. He's been on both sides of it, so he's somebody who I think is perfect to like be able to bust balls, but not like
he's
Ricky
not
Gervais.
like Ricky Gervais.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, Ricky Gervais was a great roast comic.
Right.
He was a great roast host.
Yes.
But
he was a good burn it down kind of
and I mean,
comic.
you know, the first time he did it, it was like shocking and kind of cool and kind of edgelordy and
they're gonna let him do this.
Yeah, and then he did it again, and it was just like, it just kind of feels like he's being mean to people just because you know they gave him the opportunity.
He seemed
to be mean
upset
again.
that he had to do it again.
Yeah. There was like there was a disdain for the whole thing, and it just kind of felt like, why are you asking him to do this again? The first time was controversial and fun and interesting, but it didn't go over well. It's not like people were like, hell yeah. I mean, the audiences were, but that's people who just hate Hollywood.
Sure.
Because of what it is.
Because it's Hollywood.
Because it's Hollywood. Not
for a reason.
Yeah, there is a reason to hate them. But,
Sure.
you know, it just feels like if you're the producers, it's kind of like this is, you know, the Golden Globes and the Emmys. Like these are like big times of the year, and you you want to bring in this guy who like hates the entire system, just to bust George Clooney's balls, like I whatever.
Yeah,
Conan seems to understand that, like I think he's going to put on a good show while also kind of sending it up a little bit, letting him know, like, you know, wink and a nod kind of thing. So
he's a Simpsons guy, you know, so
Yeah.
it's the perfect, you know, middle road of being able to send it up, but not go too far.
Yeah.
Still have a good time.
Okay. Yeah. That's you're right. You know what we were.
What are you gonna say? What else are you gonna say?
He's awesome. He's the
great.
GOAT. He's my favorite late night talk show host. He's
Yeah.
the man.
Same.
That's it. There's nothing else to say. Okay.
All right.
You were telling me
Yeah.
that you dipped a toe into Bluesky.
Just a little.
Just a little pinky toe.
Yeah.
And what were you thinking?
I was thinking that Twitter is bad for me. And so I did see a lot of people on Twitter, you know, announcing their either their exodus or their like partial like vent valve to Bluesky.
Yeah, it is kind of funny seeing celebrities do this thing every couple of years.
Yeah.
Like,
see you guys later.
I'm out of here. And it's like, listen, guys, I mean, I get the sentiment.
You're going nowhere.
And I'm definitely not going to be one of these people who's like, this isn't an airport. You don't have to announce your exit.
Yeah.
But I also kind of feel like either just stop using the service or don't.
Right.
But this thing where, like, Gabrielle Union posted an entire statement.
Wow.
And it had, like, a picture of her down at the bottom, like, and I'm like, listen, this isn't written from the desk of the president of the United States. You don't need to release a statement.
Speaking of Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. There doesn't need to be a press release for you to stop using a social. Most people just delete it off their phones.
Yes, that's all you gotta do.
So I think
I do appreciate the people that are like, hey, follow me on Bluesky.
Yeah.
Just so you know, your followers can follow you somewhere else if they so choose.
Yeah.
But you don't have to make it a whole thing.
Don't make it a whole thing. If you're like, listen, I don't like where this stuff is going.
Yeah.
And I'm looking out there and I'm seeing an alternative. I think this Bluesky thing actually might work out. I'm going to pop over here.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are saying that because apparently, according to Deadline, or no, excuse me, not Deadline, NPR. Daily usage has climbed 500% in the U.S. And from X, Twitter, more than 115,000 users have deactivated their accounts, which is the largest ever mass exit from the platform.
But I thought there was billions of people using the service.
There are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ball.
So, you know, that 115,000 is a drop in the bucket. But I think it does show a desire for an alternative, as there has been for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, nothing has really fit the bill. Nothing has worked out.
Nothing has that secret sauce that Twitter has.
And, you know, you asked me about Bluesky, so I'll tell you. It's okay. It's fine. It feels less destructive because there is I think overall less content on it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I think that is, kind of part and parcel with it being a smaller service. But it does feel like a healthier alternative.
Yeah.
With people who are generally positive or at the very least not like outwardly destructive in what they're posting, in what they're saying, their point of view. I have yet to see a Nazi on there, which is nice. But
so far so good.
But at the same time, it's still not very good.
Yeah.
It feels kind of empty, and it feels like, I'm still struggling to find the right accounts to follow for even like the latest in news or I don't know, just like current events, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm not finding the secret algorithm here to like get it to the place where I'd want it to be to actually replace Twitter for me.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, unfortunately, part of the secret sauce that makes Twitter so good
is the Nazis.
It's not the Nazis, but it is the energy of feeling like this is a place where we're gonna, you're gonna see some crazy shit.
Yeah.
You're gonna see some controversial stuff, and people kind of express themselves in a more natural way.
Yeah.
There was just a thing about like ideas seem to bloom and blossom on Twitter.
Yeah. In the fecal matter.
Right.
Yeah.
That the toxic sludge.
Yeah.
And then they move to different apps and like Instagram or like Facebook. Facebook is the last to get everything. Instagram and Snapchat, like these other social media sites seem to get the jokes that are long done on Twitter. And for some, I don't still really understand. Maybe it's the way that it's structured, the way that it's like this long running, like post, like sort of like a message board with 500 million people posting on the same thing, as opposed to like Instagram is more selfish. It's more look at me.
Yeah.
You don't just post on the message board of Instagram where everybody else can have a thought. You have to kind of spur a conversation. It has to be centered around like, look at this thing or look at me.
Yeah.
And Twitter can just be like, I had a thought today. I just jump into my Twitter, my For You page, and I'll just tell you from like my own personal standpoint, we've kind of talked ad nauseum about, what Elon has done to the site in the past like year or so.
Yeah.
Just for me, my Twitter account, my For You page, used to be filled with wrestling pages, comedians, some political stuff. I mean, definitely left leaning, not left leaning. I mean, full on like far left, espousing things.
Sure.
And then the stuff that would go viral, silly shit that would go viral, the fucked up shit that would go. It's just like the stuff that everybody would see. And dude, in the past like 8 months, first of all, I don't follow Elon Musk, but I see every single thing he tweets.
Of course.
And I am now positive he has broken the system to the point that everyone, no matter what, whether you block him, mute him, kill him in real life, you will see his tweets.
Yeah.
And I think that is wrong. I think that's and now I'm starting to see, and you can throw this back in my face all you want and call me like a sensitive liberal, a bleeding heart lefty, or whatever you want to call me.
You're just looking for your safe space.
Kinda, sorta.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like, I see things and I'm like, I can't. I'm not clutching my pearls at the tweets that I see. I am just genuinely confused at why I see Donald Trump Jr. on my timeline.
Yeah.
I don't follow him. I've never interacted with any of his tweets. I didn't even really know. I mean, of course he has a Twitter account, but I've never seen his tweets until recently.
Well, and I think what that is, because same's happened to me. I've had the same experience. And I think it's one of two things, which is, well, actually, no, it's the same thing, really, which is Elon Musk had this grand vision for Twitter, which was to make it so that your feed shows a more balanced view of topics, right?
Yeah.
So by balanced, that means if, like us, left-leaning Americans, we're liking and interacting with things that are more left-leaning. So inherently, we're going to see more from the right, more conservative things.
Yeah.
What I think is happening, though, is instead of it being balanced, it is being heavy-handedly pushed in this direction of it's being gamed for conservative Twitter.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so much stuff that I've actively and let alone posts, but like ads too, that are all all Trump based, all conservative based, and
every ad I see is a Trump ad.
Right.
Every single one of them is a Trump ad or some kind of ad that's like, isn't America great now?
And then what happens is you say don't like, and it says you don't have a choice unless you pay. I mean, you can pay.
Hey, listen, we'll silence this one for now.
Right. So I think that's what it is. It's just like this overreaction to the quote unquote rebalancing of Twitter to become this conservative platform.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it so much to the point where I did go, let me see what this Bluesky thing's about, because I'm so tired of seeing this bullshit on my feed all the time.
And you know, dude, it's not just the political stuff. Like the system's just, the whole thing is just broken.
It's broken. Yeah.
I've seen tweets in other languages. I've seen horrendous things on my timeline where I'm like, I've seen
things you wouldn't believe.
I'm not one of these guys that grew up watching like Two Girls, One Cup. And I don't like watching snuff things. Like people, I don't
Hot
like.
take.
I mean, no, but what I'm saying is like there are people that do seek that shit out and they repost it and they're like, not even because they like it, but they're like, isn't it crazy that this happened?
Check this out.
Yeah, and I just don't like seeing that stuff at all. I don't like seeing people getting shot. I don't like seeing people like get knocked out cold. Sometimes, unless it's like unless the person deserved it, unless it's one of those things where like, you know, some dude is like screaming the N-word in a McDonald's and he gets punched in the face, like that's kind of satisfying. But for the most part, like road rage incidents, where like a guy just gets run over, so I don't like seeing shit like that. I don't like it. I don't want it on my timeline.
Yeah,
and it has popped up now more than ever, and I mute these tweets if I see one on my timeline. Sometimes I get caught up where I'm like, what is this? And then boom, it happens. And I'm like, no, now I have to live with that for the rest of the day.
Sorry, it's because I'm liking and retweeting those so much that you're catching them on your feed. Yeah.
So it's stuff like that too, man. It's that
brain rot.
There is no, it's pure brain rot. And the system that was in place before Elon, you know, you can say what you want about it, but there was at least a level of balance to it. Whereas like I created my algorithm. I like the TikToks kids say, I created my For You page brick by brick. Yeah. This was all me. Whatever I see on this fucking For You page is my fault.
It's for me.
And I don't feel that way anymore. Yeah. I go on Twitter and I am bombarded with things, and I don't feel like it's the algorithm that I created. I just don't. I feel like it's corrupt, and I don't mean that in a political sense. I just mean that like
it's been corrupted.
Yeah. It's clear that Elon has a vision now for what he wants the site to be, and he is gonna force you into it whether you like it or not. And that's the thing that I don't. I know that he used Twitter to help Donald Trump. Like, it's clear.
Absolutely.
It's not even like a debate. Like, no. I get that, and I'm not even really. That's disappointing because Elon.
Well, he had the America Twitter page.
He stole the America page, the literal @America page, and then just used it to post Trump propaganda. So like, if that should bother you, bro. That even if you're a Trump guy, even if you're an ardent, like, even if you want to be on Trump's cabinet, it should bother you that he took the America page should just be posting about literally America, not any political candidates, left or right. It should just be saying shit like God bless America.
Sure.
It should be talking about national holidays, national parks. It should be remembering great men and women of this country. It should never be used for the way that Elon used it. Yeah. You should be upset about that, man. And I can't convince you otherwise. Like, you just be upset about that. So it's shit like that it's not even from a, oh no, I see too many Trump tweets. It's just the rest of it too, man. Like, I didn't build this for you page. I was bombarded with this page. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I hope that Bluesky turns into something viable, because I'm not announcing my exit here on the One Beer In, but I will be leaving if something if
something else comes up that's viable, I will be there.
Yeah.
It hasn't been Threads. It hasn't been Bluesky yet.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, people are clearly looking for an alternative, and they have been for a long time. So now's the time. I mean, somebody will step up, I'm sure.
But you know what? I don't even want to go to Bluesky, too, because fuck Jack. He's part of the reason we're in this mess now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, social media as a construct was like a nuclear bomb on the world's mental health, but I don't know. It's here now.
It's here now.
It's here now. No, it's
and it's what it is.
It's like the nuke. You can't put that genie back in the box. It's here. So we have to play with what we have.
And that's all we got.
We'll see though. I'm gonna say right now though, Bluesky is not the answer so far, but maybe it'll change. I'm going to keep playing with it. We'll see. The one good thing about Bluesky is that it does let you curate specific different algorithms, essentially. So you can have an algorithm for, like, hip-hop, where you only see hip-hop news.
Oh, that's cool.
You can have an algorithm for video games, so you only see video game news. You can have an algorithm for art, so you don't see art in there. Or, nature posts. You only get that. So that is a nice thing that you can do on there.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to this NPR article, it is, quote, billionaire proof.
What the fuck does that mean?
So it says it's billionaire proof since the company is not one centralized feed of content, but rather a, quote, protocol from which endless feeds can be created. Think of a protocol like email or the internet itself, Graeber says, which is the representative here. It would be difficult for a single person or company to control it since the underlying technology is open sourced and maintained by many contributors like Wikipedia. So a lot of people came together to make this Bluesky thing work, essentially.
If it's any of the guys from Wikipedia, just get ready for your page to be filled with a thing going, please, just $2 and we can continue to do this.
I believe what they meant was it's like Wikipedia.
Oh, okay.
Not Wikipedia is one of the contributors.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Wikipedia is run by one guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude,
and he's homeless.
He's on a laptop just constantly going into other pages.
Did you know that $1 helps?
Did you know that? Listen, I'll never ask for this again. I just need $1, bro. Just $1.
About that much of the article.
As soon as I see that thing pop up, it's
red
just
font,
scroll.
Yeah.
Sorry, brother.
Bye.
I'll never pay you. I appreciate you for what
Thank
you've
you for
done.
your service.
Yeah, but you're not getting a $2. You're not getting the $2 because you know what happens? Then you get added to some weird mailing list, and then it's every fucking year.
Sure.
It's like, hey, we're back for that $2 again.
You gave once. Why not again?
if I give money to Wikipedia, then I want to be a fucking investor.
Sure.
I want stocks.
Put my name somewhere in there.
Yeah. I want something back for this.
Yeah.
And not just the fact that like I can prove that I'm right about an Oscar nominee.
Sure.
You know, I can do that with any other thing. So
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see about Bluesky.
We'll see about Bluesky.
Yeah.
That's all we can really do at this point.
So that's all we got.
Hope for the best.
Yeah.
Hope for the best. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
That we had?
Nothing.
Nothing?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Do you want to... You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm almost out of beer, so I'm getting...
Yeah. Did you finish?
angry.
You finish this one too?
I did. I did finish the crisp.
Man, they're like really just choking them down. Do you want me to grab a...
I just talking about
You're just
Twitter
so excited
just
about
gets
Twitter.
me really upset.
Gets you real riled up.
Yeah.
I'll grab a beer.
Okay.
And you can tell the people what your cheers of the week is. Well, actually, wait, because we have to actually cheers.
We do have to cheers.
So just sit here.
Okay. I'll just sit here.
Do you want to get the people ready for what your cheers is gonna be?
Sure.
You want to warn us?
Yeah. I'll try to give a little preamble here. So my cheers of the week is going to be more of like a local thing. Less of a larger scope idea that I sometimes do. Well, thank you so much. Oh, Dat Piff.
Dat Piff. All right, you can just tell us now. Forget your little preamble.
Okay. Well, you got to open your beer first.
Obi, what's your cheers, brother?
My cheers of the week goes to seeing local orchestras.
Oh.
So I say that because I went to go see Sherry's performance with CFC Arts. If you're in Orlando, check them out. They did a video games live-esque performance of a bunch of video game soundtracks, obviously in orchestral styling, and it was awesome. And I think that it's a really nice thing to be able to help contribute to local people who have an interest in performing.
She's having a lot of fun with this.
I know. And, especially in Florida where the funding has been stripped from a lot of these.
Thanks a lot, DeSantis.
These organizations. They need your help and support more
Ronnie
than ever.
Meatball.
De Sanctimonious.
I retired the impression.
Yeah, I know. It's just I'm trying to wean it out.
It's hard. You got it's
tough.
It's still buried in there. You got to get it out.
Every
time you can.
But yeah, I think it's a good thing if you can ever go out there and look up your local orchestra, look up your local jazz quartet or whatnot. Anyone local that's out there, just regular old people like you and me. That have
there ain't nobody like me.
That have a passion for performance. Go out there and support them because I think it's an important element to any community, really. So,
he's just gearing us up for when he does his when he joins a jazz band.
It's true.
And does his jazz sax.
Support me.
Yeah. So be ready for that when we stop promoting my music and we start promoting sax solos.
Burn.
Huh?
Yeah.
The jazz band?
CFC Arts has a jazz
CFC
band.
Arts. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
I'll get there.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's a lot of commitment.
Yeah.
A lot of commitment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those people, they do commit a lot to that thing, and what they give back to the community is a beautiful thing.
It is.
So it's awesome. It's awesome to see. Stop looking at us, making it weird. Okay, I take it all back.
Uh-huh.
All right, I actually didn't finish my Pilsner, so I'm going to cheers with this.
Okay.
And my cheers of the week is going to this weird movie that I watched the other night.
Okay.
And it's called Crazy Samurai 400 V1.
Oh, wow.
So I was just scrolling through. I think it's on Prime. And the name obviously. I love like some. There's these movies that get made, and sometimes like the title is just so on the nose. What does it have? A 37. Yeah, that makes sense. It's not that good.
It's from 2020.
Okay, so
I thought this was like an 80s movie.
No. This movie, I mean, it looks like it's from like the early 90s or something.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, and I don't mean to insult these the very talented fight choreographers and actors and everybody who was involved in making this movie, but it's not that good.
Okay.
But
doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, I mean it's bad.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, all right. Let me try to formulate this. It was a fun experience. It did get boring after a while.
That's the thing this Reddit review says. Wow, Crazy Samurai 400 verse 1 was crazy boring and just bad.
Yeah. So, but
why is this the cheers?
I wanted to cheers it because the thought and the idea I thought was so fun and original that I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about if this was in a more capable filmmaker's hands. This idea is so cool. So essentially, if you're not familiar, the movie is filmed in a one shot. So the whole movie is one fight scene.
Okay.
And he literally is fighting 400 samurai. Now, obviously, they play with the camera, and if you know anything about filmmaking, you know where they cut it and everything. Yeah. And sometimes they get a little obvious. There's moments where like that dude just walked across the screen. Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, that was a wipe. But essentially, this assassin, dude, the way this movie starts, okay. This guy, I'm going to give you guys some spoilers because check it out if you want. It's too long. That is its Achilles heel. It's too long. Okay. It's way too long. There is a point in the movie where it goes where
it's an hour and a half.
It's way too long. It needed to be like
a short film?
Yeah, it needed to be on YouTube.
Okay.
You could cut 45 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But so this movie starts, okay?
It's about the legendary samurai Musashi Miyamoto.
So Musashi,
yeah.
Listen to this, okay? The movie starts, and they're gearing up because they know Musashi is about to come attack their clan leader.
Okay.
He has murdered all of the other clan leaders so far, and guess who's left? A 4-year-old.
Nice.
And he's wearing like samurai regalia.
Yeah.
He's got his little swords with him. Adorable.
Yeah.
Just the cutest little kid. And he's sitting there waiting for Musashi to come, and they're all now they've surrounded him, and they're like, he's not going to touch you. Right. So don't worry about it. We're going to fight this guy. This is our last stand. Mm-hmm. And at one point, one of the characters is like, I think it's kind of fucked up that we're sending 400 samurai against one person. Right. It's like, you shut up. All right? How about you get the fuck out of the way?
You don't know Musashi.
So that's the cold open of the movie. Right before the credit, or right before the title card. Yeah. Musashi is waiting in a tree, and he jumps down and he murders that baby. He slices this baby. It is crazy, bro. I was like, what the fuck? Oh my god, it was incredible. It was such a good, like, the kid is he's watching like butterflies and stuff, and he doesn't know what's going on, and then he looks up and all you see is Musashi just coming into frame, and he cuts him down, kills an old man, and that's how the movie starts. Let's go.
Nice.
I was like, I'm in, dude.
Yeah.
I am in.
Yeah.
So I sat up in my bed. I was like, I wanted to like pop popcorn and like get snacks. I was like, this is gonna rock.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of fizzles out because it's very difficult to make 77 minutes of this guy fighting all these other guys interesting.
Yeah, you need ebbs and flows. And
you need some emotional beats. And it's not a movie. It's not really a movie. It looked more like a video game. It was like watching a live action video game.
It's a long fight scene.
Yeah, and I'm cheersing it because I just thought it was so interesting and original and very cool. So, check it out if you want. I mean, I think you can find it on Prime.
It's on Peacock, according to the internet.
There you go. So find it on Peacock. If you got Peacock and you got an hour and a half.
Maybe just watch the intro.
Just watch, dude. Yeah. Just watch that intro.
Yeah.
And then watch, like, the first 20 minutes of the fight scenes.
Then you got it.
And you got it.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to do much else after that. So there you go.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I dig that.
Okay. All right. One last thing we got to do before we get out of here, and that is review this brewski. So tonight's brew was from Sixpoint Brewery. It was the Stooper. The Hazy IPA. Obi, what'd you think?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but I didn't find much flavor in this thing.
Yeah.
It was kind of one note, and that one note was like fine.
Yeah.
It kind of tastes like it should have nothing on the can as far as art and just say Hazy IPA.
Yeah.
It's very generic.
I think that's what they're kind of going for with the Stooper thing. Like, you're just hanging out, you're just having an IPA.
Yeah.
Whatever, no frills.
Right.
You're in Brooklyn. You're on the Stooper, Brooklyn.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
Grab a step.
Yeah, but for that, you're getting a 4 for me. Like, it's good. It's good, but it's not great. It just didn't really do much for me in general.
Yeah. I'll take it a step further, man. I'm only giving it a 3.
Okay.
I really was not a fan of this in a way of, like, drinking it again.
I would never go out of my way for it.
Yeah. I just feel like, I mean, I think we're a little spoiled with IPAs out here.
Yeah.
In Central Florida, bro, you could throw a fucking stick and hit at least 12 different really good IPAs.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with live. I mean, not a problem. It's a good thing. It's a good problem to have. But yeah, I just wouldn't. This just does nothing for me. So
yeah,
I give it a 3 because it is good. It's a decent IPA.
Right.
I'm not gonna like knock points off because it just doesn't do anything for me personally. I get that it is exactly what they want to do.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even worth. I think Sixpoint has done so much. I mean, this shit right here.
Yeah.
This right here, the Piff, this Hazy Double. We should have done this
far better.
This is so much better.
Yeah.
So much more flavorful.
Right.
It's got this nice like berry fruit note on it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they did that. It's like tropical hop, I guess. I mean, this is fantastic.
It is.
So.
Lemon, grapefruit, and pineapple aromas.
There you go.
I get them in there.
I would give this a 4.5, maybe even a 5 if we were judging the Piff.
Yep.
I don't think we've done the Piff before either.
I don't think we have.
So maybe I made a mistake.
Shh.
Should we? Oh.
We may be able to find it again.
Yeah. All right. So a 3 for me and a 4 for you.
Yes, sir.
All right. You think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, if Obi says we got it, then this episode is over. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Mark Leduc, for Adam, Obesius.
What you gonna do?
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful evening.
We love you.
Stooper.